The CrossFit Open is just around the corner, and in this video, I want to explain to you how to lay out your training week most optimally for your training goals. Those training goals are basically split into two different groups in the Open. You have one group who's trying to make it into that top 25%, who we're gonna call bubble athletes, who need to extract every ounce of performance out of themselves to make it into the next stage of competition. So that's one group of athlete. The other group of athlete is somebody that is much more confident they're gonna make it to quarterfinals. You have all the strength metrics, all the endurance metrics, all the skills, and you're pretty confident that you're well above that top 25% cut line that's gonna keep you out of quarterfinals. For that athlete, it's much more important that you don't waste the 3 weeks of training in the Open, because if you get so focused on performance in the Open, you could potentially lose fitness that is more important at the quarterfinal level, which is the most important stage of competition for the more advanced athletes. So let's go to the whiteboard and look at how those training weeks actually look for Training Think Tank. So like I said, first athlete that we're gonna talk about is the bubble athlete, trying to make it into that top 25%. Looking at the training week, we have Thursday, the announcement coming out. Friday, we do attempt number 1. Saturday ends up being recovery work based on what attempt number 1 was, skill work for potential workouts that could come out in subsequent weeks of the Open, and practice based on how that first attempt actually went. An off day on Sunday. Attempt number 2, so this is hopefully the score that you're actually going to put on the leaderboard, is going to be done on Monday. After that, Tuesday ends up being recovery and open prep for the remaining workouts to come out in subsequent weeks. And Wednesday is strength and what we call a stinger, which is just a short burst of intensity that isn't a lot of volume to break your body down. The reason we lay the week out like this for bubble level athletes is because we think Friday is the best time to do attempt number 1. You get the workout on Thursday, but generally speaking, you can watch strategy videos, tip videos, other people do the workouts. And by waiting an extra day to do the workout, you can make sure that your first attempt is much better than just getting anticipatory excitement and doing the workout too quickly on your first time. After that, everything set up on Saturday and Sunday is really to optimize your performance on attempt number 2. So recovery work to basically flush out your legs if they're sore, or your lats if they're sore, skill work on other things that could come out in subsequent weeks so that way you're still getting better as an athlete, and practice of things that you identified in attempt number 1 that maybe you need to work on. Maybe you need to work your footwork steps or technique or your pacing, and you can do a little bit of practice on Saturday. All of this is setting you up so that when you come in on Monday, you can optimally execute. And I put a star here because this is the workout score that you're trying to put up on the leaderboard. You've already done your first attempt, you've recovered maximally between it, and you come in and hopefully you crush it and improve on your redo. From there, everything after this is to basically set you up so that you can be on repeat to optimize your performance on weeks 2 and weeks 3 of the Open. Remember, it is a 3-week long competition, and if you're on the bubble, you need to make sure that every single one of these workouts, not just in week 1, but also in weeks 2 and week 3, is done at your highest standard, because you are on the bubble and you're trying to make it through into that top 25%. So that is what the week looks like for bubble athletes. And real quick, if you are one of these bubble level athletes, go check out our 3-part series where we talked about pacing, game day execution, and video review. Now is the time of the year in your season where optimizing your performance on your first attempt and then video reviewing it to optimize your performance on your second attempt, which hopefully will be the score that you put on the leaderboard. This is the most important time in the year to put that information into practice. So check out that 3-part series before the Open starts. And now, our second group. Oh, that sucked. Quarterfinal peak. So we want somebody in this group basically to optimize their performance at the quarterfinals. Now, this is going to be a delicate balance because you still need to take the Open seriously, but you're not putting your whole training week around repeating the workouts and getting everything out of that 3 weeks, because that can be wasteful for your long-term development, which is more important to get you ready for that quarterfinal date that's really 8 weeks after the start of the Open. So here's how the week looks a little bit different for a quarterfinal athlete. We get our announcement workout on Thursday. Again, similarly to our bubble athletes, we're not gonna do it on Thursday. We're gonna come in on Friday and we're gonna do some strength training in the morning, because For a quarterfinal athlete, you still need to be thinking that you are getting better for the quarterfinals. You're not just focused on that open workout. So doing some of your strength training beforehand and doing maybe some skill work or basic intervals for that open workout to get ready to do it, since you only have one attempt at doing it, is the way that we set up our day in the morning as strength training. Come in the evening, hit the open workout, generally with Friday Night Lights, or in the afternoon, you have some scores and you have the ability to put out a good high quality attempt. But after that, your open workout is over. You are not coming back and you are not repeating it. Everything after that Friday is again training for the quarterfinals. So this quarterfinal training workout that's written on Saturday AM and PM is all based on what we did in the open. So if we did 100 box jumps on Friday, we're not gonna be doing a lot of bounding and hinging on Saturday. If we did a bunch of handstand push-ups, we're not coming in and doing more handstand walking and overhead work. We're basically going to be tailoring the training after the open workout to do things that weren't tested in the open workout. And that theme moves all the way through the training week. So we do that on Saturday, we take Sunday off. Monday and Tuesday are both written as quarterfinal training optimizing sessions. So there's potentially heavier workouts or more advanced skills that haven't yet come out in the open. And then when we get to Wednesday, the day looks very similar to bubble athletes, where we do strength work, we lower the overall volume and do something relatively intense. And that sets you up to repeat that for all 3 weeks of the open, which means you are getting effective, high quality training for those 3 weeks of the open. And you're not just losing fitness as you're trying to potentially optimize yourself to get to the next level. So it's very important, if you're a quarterfinal athlete, to put yourself in the appropriate mindset, not to waste that time, because that is some of the most important training time that you have that's leading in right up to quarterfinals. So this week is a little bit more optimal to set you up for success at that later date, which might take a little bit of performance away from you in the open, but we think that's okay because you have that big picture in mind of trying to optimize your performance at that quarterfinal level. We really believe that this is the optimal way to set up your training weeks to perform in the open. If you want to know a little bit more of the detail about how we got to this layout, check out our recent podcast, which when it's ready will be right here, where we go in detail on this layout for both bubble athletes and quarterfinal athletes. So this is the way that most of our athletes at TTT and all of our athletes in our TTT Compete program will be tackling the season. For you, good luck in the open and in quarterfinals. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya.